Hello, I am Shane Lee, WX0X, and this is an introduction to the Arkansas AUXCOMM SKYWARN system. Thank you for viewing the AUXCOMM YouTube channel. This is the first of many emergency communications related videos we plan to provide here. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out when we publish new or revised content. In this presentation, we will cover the Arkansas AUXCOMM mission and goals, speak about SKYWARN past, present, and future, and finally, talk about how you can participate. We have defined our mission and goals. We want to be a reliable conduit for ground truth and situational awareness for the National Weather Service. Storm spotting is important, especially the further you get from the radar sites around the state. We want to be the eyes and ears of the forecasters where their technology has a tougher time reaching. We also want to serve all of the citizens of the state of Arkansas, not just those in large metropolitan areas. In many ways, it is so much more important to have trained spotters out in the less populated areas where accurate reporting is challenging due to less media resources and lower population. In short, we want to bring SKYWARN to areas of the state never before served. Timely and accurate communication is always the goal, and we believe the network we are assembling does a great job of facilitating that communication. Finally, we intend to take full advantage of and continue to develop our technical expertise while setting and upholding high standards of integrity and professionalism as we serve the National Weather Service. Our near-term goals fit well into our overall objective of revolutionizing amateur radio SKYWARN storm spotting in Arkansas. As previously mentioned, we think it's important to provide good SKYWARN coverage to all parts of the state. As a result of the All-Star Link technology we are using, there is now no reason that solid SKYWARN information cannot flow freely to and from all areas of Arkansas. All-Star performs well, is cheaper, and easier to employ than previously used linking technology. Secondly, we believe that standardization and training has long been lacking in amateur radio-based storm spotting. The National Weather Service has always done a great job teaching us the science and techniques of storm spotter training, but there has not been much training offered in the amateur radio community to help our spotters know what to do when interacting with a live SKYWARN weather net. By providing this training, we believe that we can increase our performance and capability and therefore be of better use to the National Weather Service. Starting in the 1970s, SKYWARN was actually operated on HF frequencies in Arkansas. Can you imagine having your expensive HF radio hooked up and operating during a thunderstorm? Yikes. FM repeaters finally took over in a largely limited network that have historically served the metropolitan areas best. Presently, we have two types of SKYWARN in Arkansas. One is characterized by smaller and isolated networks that are dependent on RF linking. AUXCOMM represents a large and growing network of repeaters that are linked by All-Star and backed up locally by RF links. Historically, technical standards and training have either not been offered or not uniform. We are seeking to change that now. In the future, we aim to create one statewide SKYWARN network, networked by All-Star or quiet RF links, capable of providing mutual support, staffed with well-trained and coordinated net control and spotter volunteers. As I've said before, our repeater network is linked via the All-Star Link network. It consists of repeaters owned by multiple clubs and individuals that form a coalition of the willing, meaning that those who participate do so at their will and with our thanks. In addition to the repeaters, there are privately owned remote base stations and hotspots, all accessible to each other via voice over internet protocol. VoIP provides great audio, which is clear and without the latency issues seen on Echolink. All-Star also allows for central controllability through the Almon 3 dashboard as seen in the picture. We can rapidly diagnose problems with noise and interference and disconnect the offending station from the network, preserving the ability to effectively communicate. All-Star is based on the OpenStar Asterix PBX running the app repeat application. While being difficult to work with in the past, All-Star now uses a graphical user interface that is now much more accessible to all hams. Why did we pick All-Star Link? Well, from a technological perspective, it's interoperable in that it does not require any special type of radios or repeaters. Instead, it runs on the analog system we already have in place. Also, it does not require costly extra antennas, controllers, link radios, or tower climbs. It is also very accessible. For those of you who just have an HT, you can get a hotspot and connect as long as you have an internet connection. Or you can connect via your smartphone if that becomes necessary. Even if there isn't a repeater nearby, you can still take part. All-Star is resilient. Any malfunction of the system can be rapidly detected and dealt with quickly and, most importantly, cheaply. Most repeaters can be connected to the All-Star system for less than $250. Contrast that with the death of an RF link due to a lightning storm, where you might lose a link radio, coax, antenna, and controller if you're lucky. It's a whole other scale of cost and time. All-Star also allows for a larger and more diverse network. Repeaters are owned by many individuals and clubs, all with a voice and all appreciated. I know some might worry about the use of internet linking for emergency communications, and that's a valid concern. I would like to point out that if the network ever fails for whatever reason, what are we left with? What we had up until now, disconnected repeaters and local nets. Also, the internet has become a lot more stable over the past 10 or 15 years. I can think of at least 2 powerful EF4 tornadoes that have happened in Arkansas without an internet failure. Most internet service providers back up their network with generators too, which is more than can be said for a lot of amateur radio equipment. Finally, ISPs have a monetary interest in keeping their network up, so things are likely to be fixed rapidly. For all of these reasons, we think our internet linking scheme is a good one, and we hope you will too. From an operational perspective, mutual support capability is one of the biggest advantages. Face it, net control operators are tough to find and have family emergencies. In this system, a net control from anywhere can run our net as necessary. We have mutual support agreements with partners elsewhere who will support, and we will support them as they stand by to support us in the future. The network is agile too, in that participants only participate until the weather threat passes in their area and can connect and disconnect at any time at their choice. A hidden positive is that the network is excellent for amateur radio. Any repeater that doesn't have much traffic normally is invited to remain connected, making social rag chewing much easier during good weather too. As of February 2026, this is the extent of the Arkansas AUXCOMM system. As you can see, we have repeaters connected across the state, but we're always looking for more. Is there overlap? Sure. But we're glad to have any amateur radio station participate in our net as long as their equipment follows the technical standard set forth in our standard operating procedure. It's really pretty easy and can be summed up as, it needs to sound good and not cause noise or interference for the network. There are still areas of the state where we don't have sufficient coverage, but we're continually working on that and hope you'll see fit to help. In fact, the yellow dots are repeaters we expect to add to the network this spring. The red dots are the current AUXCOMM repeaters. Blue dots are our SKYWARN partners, with the largest group belonging to the Mid-South SKYWARN in the Memphis County warning area. We can also be heard on TGIF Talk Group 184 and on Yaesu System Fusion's NA0D room. And for those of you who don't have an amateur radio license yet or want to share our audio with your family elsewhere, we have a Broadcastify audio link. Just search for Arkansas AUXCOMM. How can you participate? Well, you can set up an All-Star Link node. At its simplest, you can set up a hotspot. All that's required at a minimum is a Raspberry Pi computer, a radio interface like the Shari Pi Hat, and an internet connection. If you would like to have a more a la carte option, ClearNode sells an already assembled and customized All-Star node. All you'll need to do is plug it in, connect it to the internet, and tune your handy-talkie to the proper frequency, and you'll be in business. Adding a repeater to the network isn't difficult either. Repeater nodes use much the same interface as with a personal node. Intimidated by it? No need to be. We have experts available to answer your questions about internet linking of repeaters, and they are glad to help. First, you'll need an internet connection at the repeater site. It isn't as difficult to get one as you may think, and we can provide you with direction to make finding a connection easier. In fact, we've had considerable luck using cellular internet service. Again, the only requirement is that you can meet the technical standard in the SOP, and we'll help you be successful in doing that should you want to try. Pictured is the Cabot 145-410 repeater. It uses cellular service to connect to the All-Star Link system. It is wired through a link port on the repeater controller. In fact, you don't even have to have a controller. All-Star can serve as an advanced, full-featured controller by itself, if you would like. Training is one of the cornerstones of our project. The most important part is National Weather Service Storm Spotter training. In-person training may or may not be available, but failing that, you can find online training at meted.ucar.edu. You can also find a recent recording of a National Weather Service Storm Spotter training class on the Arkansas AUXCOMM YouTube channel where you found this video. Spotter certificates are not necessary, just learn as much as you can. There are also terrific resources on YouTube, and really, we encourage you to go as deep down the rabbit hole of weather education as you would like. Also, Arkansas AUXCOMM has a test net every third Tuesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. The net offers all of us the opportunity to check our radios and have some training material presented. Our net controls appreciate the practice, and it's also helpful that we can test the network and have a chance to fix any malfunctions that might have developed before the next severe weather event. We also provide the AUXCOMM SKYWARN SOP. It's about 25 pages of good information, but it's not necessary to read the entire document. On the first few pages, there is a guide that tells spotters, net controls, and repeater owners which parts most apply to their situation. In general, the SOP details what is expected of both net control and spotter stations, tells you when to expect a net and when not to expect one, and helps you to understand what to report and when. The Arkansas AUXCOMM SKYWARN SOP can be found on the AUXCOMM website at https://arkansasauxcomm.org/Skywarn, or under the Agencies tab, select Skywarn. We also need net control stations. If you are an experienced net control and would like to volunteer as an Arkansas AUXCOMM SKYWARN net control, contact any of our net control operators for information on how to get started. We would like our net controls to have previous net control experience, but that should be easy. Just get on the list to net control your local club's net. Training includes running the AUXCOMM SKYWARN test net and shadowing a current net control during an active severe weather event. Even if you don't want to get on the radio, we can use help from loggers. Loggers help net control by running our log on ham.live during severe weather events. If you have something to offer, please let us know and we'll find a way to put your skills to good use. This concludes our presentation on the Arkansas AUXCOMM SKYWARN system. This picture was taken by Randy, K5NDX, last April as a tornado threatened his home. He was warned by one of our net controls that the storm was approaching and was able to reach safety quickly. This is why we do what we do. Thank you for listening to the presentation, and 7-3.